the more important thing in life is just living intentionally and simply and experiencing each other and the world around us.
Having an empty drawer is kind of a healthy mental practice when you're living in a simple space.
I think it came out really, really pretty. I've never seen another Skoolie that has one like it.
Things break, but things break in houses too, and you have to deal with them.
My name is Jason.
And Elizabeth.
And this is Levi. And we live full-time for almost 2 years now in the Joy Bus.
So this is our kitchen setup. When we were building the bus, I think we tried to really reflect on what is important to us and who we are. And cooking and baking and having community meals was really important to us. So I wanted a big kitchen, as they say. We chose a really big sink, both for ease of doing dishes and also bathing a toddler. Really wanted a gas stove. So we have a 20-gallon propane tank outside, which lasts us 3 to 4 months. An oven is something I use 3 or 4 times a week at least, and super important to me. Lots of food storage on both sides. We had these cabinets we just bought from on sale extras at Home Depot. They're not holding up great on bumpy roads, so we're kind of starting to redo. These cabinets were built with 1/4-inch plywood, holding up much better. We designed all of them to be exactly the size of a can for easier storage. All of our utensils are in one drawer. All of our pots, pans, dishes, and everything are under here. And they all kind of fit nicely here, as well as this is an extra seat if we have people over for dinner. I have a pressure cooker behind here as well, which has been really game-changing. We eat a lot of beans, and just being able to cook dry beans a lot faster with a pressure cooker has been nice. The fridge is oftentimes one of people's favorites. My husband bought this fridge very impulsively. We had ripped out all the seats, putting in the flooring, running into lots of problems. Building a bus comes with a lot of figuring out, and he was frustrated. And so before we had any sort of design, he went on Amazon and bought this fridge because it was cute and made him happy, and he needed something joyful in the bus building process. And this fridge was like, I need inspiration and something to look forward to, hence this fridge. Oh yeah, we have drawers on the floor. We built these a few months ago when we were at, my dad is a woodworker. We were at his house, and so we just put these together. It's kind of become extra books, toys. We don't have a big use for them. I think one of the things we try and do when we, this one is almost empty, finding empty space equally as important as full space. I think when you live simply or live in a small space, we don't want to just stuff everything full of everything, but being really intentional about what we have, and having an empty drawer is kind of a healthy mental practice when you're living in a simple space. One of our favorite things is our coffee maker system. This took us a long time to develop. We broke 3 Chemex systems, and so now we have for a pour over coffee, a canning funnel, a mason jar, and then we put a filter in, and we can make pour over coffee. And this is our system that hasn't broken, but we still get our nice pour over coffee. And then I think the other thing that lots of people told us to consider when building is where does your trash go? How much trash can you store? Dirty laundry. And so we have kind of trash, dirty laundry, cleaning supplies, a catch-all place. Not as pretty, but important functionally for living. So another fun function, glass wine bottles are hard in a bus. And so we have box wine with our special wine cutout, easy to use, functional. Box wine will last us a really long time, but it's nice. Finding small, simple ways to make things functional makes the experience of living in a bus more pleasant for me.
There's a couple of reasons. I think the big one was just about wanting to live a life of intentionality and be really present to each other and present to Levi. I think it's so easy to get so busy in the city, and living simply lets us work less hours, lets us spend more time just wandering with him in the forest, in the desert, waking up together slowly most mornings, snuggling. Just this unhurried life that I think every parent wants, but not everybody has the privilege or the ability to figure out how to get it.
I think just time. It's precious. we're both nurses. We both worked in areas where like we've seen a lot of people like die. I mean, I feel that's like really not to be like graphic, but like we've seen lots of people die old and young and tragically, and like embracing these moments in life. I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I work about 20 hours a week, 2 days a week. My whole practice is telehealth. I'm licensed in Arizona, so everyone I see in Arizona is in Arizona, but I'm not required to be in Arizona. Working telehealth gives us a lot of freedom. Working 2 days a week gives us a lot of freedom. And then Jason does travel nurse contracts. And so we take travel nurse contracts, like depending on how busy I am, or 1 or 2 times a year. If there's something in a really beautiful place or close to our friends, or we did a contract last summer in Wisconsin by my parents. And so depending on parking and weather, and we can go lots of different places.
But all of last year, I worked a total of 16 weeks. And so, you know, with her working part-time, pretty much covers our needs. We really don't work just for the sake of working. What's important to our life is community and Levi and adventure and being present to each other. And work is just to keep us sustained. I mean, I love my work. She loves her work. It's work that's fulfilling to us. But the more important thing in life is just living intentionally and simply and experiencing each other and the world around us.
So this is the front of the bus. I do about 75% of the driving. In the beginning it was scary, but now I really enjoy driving and it's relaxing. We have a Caterpillar 3126E engine with air brakes, and it's been really good to us and we've had no problems. We also have a backup camera. We have a tow car, so we have an extra brake that we can attach and see the brakes on the tow car. And then one of our favorite things besides poetry, and all of our spices are magnetic. So we have lots of spices here and up here because I like to cook. We just put in our shoe rack recently, a few months ago. It also, I think one of the things we're working on is finding ways to make the bus more homey and beautiful, not just practical. So lots of plants, and then lots of toy storage for toddlers, which is super important because there's so many little toys. So making sure he has the space he needs and all of his special things. And a shoe rack right at the front door. So one extra spare seat for the person not driving. It has a seat belt. We don't use it as often as we should, but it's there for a seat belt. It also has a lot of built-in storage for little things. So storage down here and storage behind the seat. So that's been really helpful as well.
So this is our sort of living room area, and where we eat most of our meals. This couch pulls out into a queen-size bed. We don't do it very often, but we have had company over. Obviously, standard lagoon mount that swings over. And when that's over, we can also pull out our pots and pans thing, which you can sit on the other side. So we've had 9 or 10 people in here sharing meals. It's crowded, but it works. And underneath here, we just have more storage, tools, canned goods. This is our trauma kit. We carry every kind of medical supply you would need in a medical emergency, a full trauma setup, since we're both nurses and we're often in remote areas. The shelves up here are great. We custom made these to fit the jars and everything. So we have this fabric ceiling, and I think it came out really, really pretty. I've never seen another Skoolie that has one like it, but it was such a pain to get up. We thought we'd had it all figured out how we were going to get it mounted to the ceiling and just how it was going to go, and it didn't go at all as planned. And oh, it was a messy, somewhat catastrophic project, but we finally got it done and we're really, really happy with how it came out. I mean, in terms of cons, there's so little that we experience as a con. I will say it's not for everybody. There's, discomforts and whatnot, but like, it never really feels like a con to us. We're really grateful for this. We never really had a normal life. When I met her, she was living in a neo-monastic community and volunteering 60 hours a week at a soup kitchen. And when we moved in together, we always had sometimes anywhere from 10 to 30 asylum seekers sleeping on our floor and on our couch. And so we've always been people who chose alternative life paths. This is just the latest iteration of that.
I mean, things break. And that can be hard when you're like down a dirt road and things break, but things break in houses too and you have to deal with them. And so like the pro of having time is like something we'll never get back.
Yeah. In terms of other pros, just getting to, first and foremost, the ability to have time for each other and to live an unhurried, intentional life is what's most important to us. But also just seeing beautiful places, being in community with amazing folks. We're here at Skoolie Palooza. We've met so many wonderful, friendly people and made so many friendships here. It's a really fun life. So we got, of course, junk drawer is unavoidable. All of the clothes that I own have to fit in here. All of Liz's clothes fit down here. And Levi has a drawer the same size. So we're pretty minimalist about how much clothing we allow ourselves to have. When Levi was younger, this was our changing table. He's potty trained now. And underneath it, we have our bathroom, our composting toilet hidden in there. So living in a bus with a toddler, there's some things that take some figuring out. One of our newer things we found is this, Hildewick makes this cover that goes over a regular composting toilet that's the size of a toddler. So he can sit on the composting toilet and have a urine diverter and have that not get mixed up in the ways you don't want it to. We have a full-size queen bed and it's a good comfortable mattress. Lots of storage underneath. This bear, my wife has had this bear since she was 2 years old. So if she ever had to choose between me and the bear, I know that I would have to find a new place to live. Underneath here, we have all of our electronics as well. We have 620 amp hours of lithium batteries, a 2000 watt inverter that's on all the time for the refrigerator, and a separate 3000 watt inverter that we only turn on for the mini split. On the roof, we have 1200 watts of monocrystalline solar and a good EPEVER charge controller that's good up to something like 50 amps, which is overkill. And the mini split as well, which works fine as long as the sun's shining. Our philosophy is if it's dark out and you still feel like you need an air conditioner, you just got to drive north. So we have no trouble powering that with the sun shining. And people often ask where Levi rides. We do have a tow car and sometimes we'll drive separate and we can put his car seat there, but we can also put the car seat right here on the bus if we're towing the car. This was a wheelchair bus and it had those wheelchair mounting brackets that were hooked in there, rated for however many pounds you have to be rated for a 400-pound electric wheelchair. And so there's a hole in the bottom of this shelf going to the upper one that we click into. The seat goes here forward facing, and then down here in between the seat and the cabinet, there's more on the floor that we click belts into and secure them. So it's a very secure way to have him bolted in when we're driving, and he loves to ride in the bus. I think the advice I would give is just, if you want to do this, just get started. Don't get attached to feeling like everything has to be perfect. There's a lot of really Instagram perfect rigs in the world, and you can scroll through social media and see these very, very fancy, very expensive rigs. And some people have a lot of skills and build them themselves, but some people go into debt to finance a professionally built rig, and that goes against the whole point of this lifestyle. Build it yourself. If you don't have the skills, you'll learn on the way. Start from where you are. It's okay if it's not beautiful. And sometimes people ask us, how long did it take for you to finish your build? And we always say they can be finished.
Yeah.
But there's never going to be a time when there isn't something that we want to redo or change. And it's not Instagram perfect, but it's livable and it's good for us and we're happy in it. Thank you for coming to our little tiny home and seeing how we live. If you want to follow our adventures, we're rolling.solidarity on Instagram and YouTube. and we hope to see you down the road somewhere.